Dawn broke over the coast of Normandy on June 6, 1944, revealing the largest seaborne invasion in human history. The waters of the English Channel churned with over 5,000 vessels carrying more than 156,000 Allied troops. This was D-Day, the beginning of Operation Overlord, and the moment that would change the course of World War II. In the pre-dawn darkness, thousands of paratroopers had already descended behind enemy lines. Their mission: to secure key bridges and road junctions, preventing German reinforcements from reaching the beaches. Through the night sky, they dropped like shadows, many landing miles from their intended targets, yet adapting and fighting on. The German forces, under the command of Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, had spent years fortifying the Atlantic Wall. Concrete bunkers dotted the coastline, their guns aimed at the sea. Miles of barbed wire stretched across the beaches, while underwater obstacles waited to tear apart landing craft. The Germans believed their defenses impregnable, but they hadn't counted on the Allies' ingenuity and determination. At 6:30 a.m., the naval bombardment began. The thunderous roar of battleship guns echoed across the channel as shells rained down on German positions. The noise was deafening, the concussion so powerful it could be felt through the steel deck plates of the ships. Yet even this massive bombardment couldn't fully suppress the German defenses. The first wave hit Omaha Beach at 6:45 a.m. As landing craft approached the shore, German machine guns opened fire, the sound of bullets striking metal mixed with the cries of wounded men. Many soldiers, weighed down by 80 pounds of equipment, drowned before reaching the beach. Those who made it faced a hellish gauntlet of fire. Private Robert Capa, a photographer with the first wave, captured the chaos in his famous Magnificent 11 photos. Through his lens we see soldiers struggling through the surf, ducking behind beach obstacles, desperately seeking cover from the relentless German fire. Of the 160 photos he took that morning, only 11 survived, but they remain some of the most powerful images of war ever captured. At Utah Beach, the Americans faced lighter resistance, thanks partly to the effective bombing of German positions. The 4th Infantry Division, led by Brigadier General Theodore Roosevelt Jr., landed about a mile off their intended position.
"We'll start the war from right here."
His calm leadership helped organize the beach assault despite the confusion. The British and Canadian forces, landing at Gold, Juno, and Sword beaches, faced their own challenges. At Juno, Canadian troops fought through heavy resistance, clearing coastal towns house by house. By day's end, they had advanced further inland than any other Allied force, though at a cost of nearly 1,000 casualties. One of the most dramatic actions of D-Day occurred at Point du Hoc, where U.S. Rangers scaled 100-foot cliffs under enemy fire. Using rocket-fired grappling hooks and rope ladders, they climbed straight up, while German defenders cut their ropes and dropped grenades on them. Of the 225 Rangers who began the assault, only 90 were still able to fight by day's end. Innovation played a crucial role in the invasion's success. The Allies deployed Hobart's Funnies, specialized armor including tanks that could swim, tanks that could clear mines with rotating chains, and tanks that carried bridges on their backs. These engineering marvels helped overcome the beach defenses, though many were lost to enemy fire. The Germans, however, were hampered by their own command structure. Hitler had to personally authorize the movement of armored divisions, but he was asleep when the invasion began, and his staff feared waking him. This crucial delay gave the Allies valuable hours to establish their beachhead. The Allies had secured their foothold in Europe, a decisive step that would ultimately lead to the liberation of the continent. By nightfall on June 6th, more than 156,000 Allied troops had landed in France. Despite over 10,000 casualties, including 14 confirmed dead, they had secured their positions. The 5 beachheads would soon be linked, creating a continuous Allied front. But this was just the beginning. The success of D-Day came down to 3 critical factors: deception, planning, and courage. The Allies had fooled the Germans about the invasion's location through Operation Fortitude, an elaborate deception campaign. They had planned every detail, from the phases of the moon to the tides. But ultimately, it was the courage of individual soldiers that carried the day. One of these soldiers was Private Herbert Levy, who would later recall,
"We were all scared, but we had a job to do. You looked left and right at your buddies and you kept going. There wasn't any other choice."
His words echo the sentiment of thousands who fought that day. Ordinary men performing extraordinary acts of bravery. The invasion of Normandy opened the Western Front, forcing Hitler to fight a two-front war he couldn't win. Within a year, the Nazi regime would collapse. D-Day had begun the final chapter of World War II in Europe, but its impact reached far beyond 1945. The lessons of D-Day continue to influence military planning and international relations. The importance of joint operations, the value of deception, and the power of multinational cooperation were all demonstrated on those French beaches. But perhaps the most enduring lesson is about human determination in the face of seemingly impossible odds. Today, the beaches of Normandy are quiet. Rows of white crosses and stars of David stretch across the American cemetery at Colville-sur-Mer, overlooking Omaha Beach. The German bunkers remain, silent sentinels gradually being reclaimed by nature. But the impact of what happened here on June 6, 1944 still resonates. D-Day represented more than just a military operation. It was a testament to human courage, innovation, and the power of nations working together toward a common goal. The success of the Normandy invasion opened the door to Europe's liberation and helped shape the world we live in today. Those who stormed the beaches that morning changed the course of history. Their sacrifice and courage remind us that the price of freedom is high, but as the waves continue to wash upon those Norman shores, we remember that some things are worth any cost. The legacy of D-Day lives on, not just in history books, but in the freedom and democracy that millions enjoy today.